Hi everyone, I'm doing my John Maxwell now and I'm finishing off the chapter on security. So the study guide today, it's 2 Samuel 12, 1 to 19. And I'm just going to go through the questions. You can read the scripture. The study questions is, the first one is, why did Nathan confront David? Couldn't he have kept silent and waited for God to punish the king? And that's true, he could have, but he also must have thought that it was his responsibility to confront David. The same way we have in our societies, we have a responsibility to confront our leaders if there's something that is not right. And he confronted David in this case on a theft that had happened. The same way we would confront leaders if there was corruption or theft and our communities were being taken advantage of. Nathan confronted him. And also, otherwise David would have carried on doing the same thing. Sometimes you confront people and they don't care, they carry on doing it anyway because they can. But sometimes people change. And then the second question is, how much do you think David's security in his own leadership factored into Nathan's willingness to confront and rebuke him? So I think that Nathan knew that David was secure in his leadership as a man, and I think he knew that he would listen to what he was saying. If he wasn't secure, I don't think he would have confronted him, or he would have gone up to him or tried to correct him or rebuke him. But I think he wanted to remind him that you can be secure in your leadership, but we also live under God's law. And then the third question is, how would you deal with it if you were confronted with wrongdoing like Nathan? How would you have reacted? So I think that happens to all of us in the workplace when we get coaching, when we get told that this is not right, you need to change this, you need to do it this way. We all get defensive because we think our way is the right way. But those of us who are coachable know that the coaching is to help us, and it's to get us to get our scores up or to change what we're doing so that we can keep our jobs. If it's something that's grossly inappropriate, yes, we can raise it and say we disagree with this. But more and more in the workplace, a lot of the time we're finding that the managers that are put in place are younger than us. So some people don't like that because they feel like, who is this person? I've been here a long time and this person just came in, or this person just graduated and now I'm reporting into them. So I don't have a problem with it. I've had a lot of managers who are younger than me, and thankfully they didn't have a problem with me either. It's the same as with the tennis. I mean, all the people that I supported are all retired now because you can only play tennis for a certain number of years before your body gives up. So I support a lot of the younger players, the new tennis players. And when I went to the tennis grounds here because they have, if you buy your ticket for the day, you can go and spend the day there. And then they have like 5 or 6 different tennis courts and you can go and see the players, whoever's playing. So because I supported Rafa, Roger, Novak and Andy, a lot of the younger players know who I am because they followed them. So it was nice for me because when I went to the courts, they came up to me, they talked to me, or when they caught my eye, they smiled and they waved. So that was nice for me. My mother didn't like me showing all that affection for Roger. She got very upset. So I told her, you know what? It's my life. If you don't like it, it's not my problem because I want to be able to do that. And she's like, I saw it on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I know you saw it on Facebook, but that's how these people know who I am, because I show my affection for them. If there's something that is not right, I tell them. So many of the younger players know me because of that, and also because I liked Serena Williams and Venus. But mainly it was because of those four, because I supported mainly the men's tennis. And I liked the men's tennis. So I think in this day and age, you have to get used to it, because the older guys are all retiring. They're not going to be around a lot. And if we want to work, many of us have not been given that opportunity to work in management, in permanent jobs. And we've had younger people managing us. So a lot of the time, they're still coming to me to ask me, hey, Belinda, is this the right way? Is this the way we should do it? And that's fine. I don't mind that. But it can also be very frustrating because you're not being given that opportunity to manage and lead in an organization. And people who are younger than you are getting paid more than you. Sometimes they have less responsibility and you're building them up. So, I'm hoping that changes for me. But that's this new world order that we're living in, where they want the younger generation to come up, and many of us are being left behind in the process. So I'm praying that changes, because it's not really fair to people like me. And then I covered a lot in this passage. So I looked at a lot of different leaders. I looked at Miriam, I looked at David, at Nathan, at Moses. So there's a lot of different leaders that you can take their story and reflect on it, and reflect on how you relate to it in your journey. And you can imagine how awful Moses must have felt when the two people closest to him started to complain about him. You can try to put yourself in their shoes. And with most of us, when we are criticized, we do get defensive. But in order to survive this life and in order to adjust to a different culture, we have to listen to what they're saying and decide whether it's in our best interest to change or not. There are things we can refuse to compromise on, like how Nathan refused to say that, yes, the stealing was good because King David was doing it. We can do that, but we also have to know when to change and how to change. And then with Saul, there's a question here. Saul promoted David when he was successful, yet he also tried to kill him. Why was Saul so inconsistent? What kind of environment does that kind of leadership create? So Saul was inconsistent because he feared losing his power. And that creates a bad environment, because he was more concerned with losing his power than he was with doing the right thing for his community. And that's when we get the bad environment coming in. And with us, when we are corrected, whether it's in our workplaces or wherever, we also have to know our limitations. There's a lot of positions that I have stepped down from in my volunteering, in different places, because I wanted to do something new, even in the church. I used to do the children's liturgy. Then I helped for a while with the Eucharistic ministry. I helped with Out of the Cold. So when they had new people come in, I stepped out of that. And when the priest told me that they wanted me to do the reading, I left what I was doing. I started doing the reading. So it just depends on where we are and what people need from us and whether we can do it. If we can't do it anymore, then we have to leave it and we have to find something else to do. And part of that comes with changes in how things are done. It can be maybe disabilities that we develop. There's a lot of different things that we can consider when we're making the changes. So I think basically this chapter was about security in God, putting our security in God, and to keep moving forward, to keep doing whatever we can. And unfortunately, for some of us, life doesn't work out. We can do all the right things, and yet the leaders of the organizations do not select us to have good paid jobs, to get promotions, to get good salaries. They choose other people. And sometimes they choose people that don't even have any experience in an organization because it's their friend or it's some political leader that recommended them for that position. So there's a lot of injustices in life, and we can't control those, and we have to put that in God's hands. But I think for me, the security comes from putting my security in God. God has brought me so far, so I hope He carries me through the rest of it. And I put my trust in Him to open up that right paid opportunity for me, whether it's in Canada or back in Zimbabwe. I want that paid opportunity and not to continue living off debt. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for my family because since I graduated from Regis College, I haven't had any good paid jobs. While I was studying, I had 3 jobs. I used to work at an insurance company, and then I used to work in the library, and I used to work in the college. So I had 3 different jobs that I was doing. But once I graduated, I just couldn't get anything. So it's sad because your degree in theology is not something that you have to become a nun or you have to become somebody who goes and lives on a kibbutz. There are lots of people who have degrees in theology that are working in finance, in healthcare, in non-profits. But for me, it's been frustrating because I just haven't been given that favor and given that extra support to get into a good paid job. So that's where I am with security, and that's the chapter on it. And the next one I'll be starting is on self-discipline. So I finished that today. I also went for my walk today. I did my dancing today. And then now I'm going to do some music. So all these things are to keep me occupied and to keep me focused on doing something creative and something that keeps me strong in my faith as well. So I hope that helps you. If you do hear of any jobs for me or opportunities for me, please contact me and let me know and pass on my name. And like I said, if there's something in Zimbabwe, I would appreciate you letting me know. It would mean a lot to me. So I'm going to leave it there, and then I'm going to go and do my music. The tennis is only coming on at 9 o'clock, so I'm watching. I listen to Cam Williams because I like to know who the new players are that are coming up. And there's a lot of different organizations I've approached. I've approached Laureus, the sports organization. I've approached the tennis organizations. I've approached hospitals, colleges. So there's a lot of places I've contacted to try to get some paid employment. I've applied in retail. So it's not like I'm just sitting at home and waiting, shaking the tree for the money to fall. But I don't know where and when that opportunity is going to open up. I just hope it's sooner rather than later, because for our generation, it's been awful. You know, the people that came up through previous generations, they used to get a job, stay in a company, and then they could retire in that company. Now companies hire you for 2 to 3 years and then they let you go, if that. Most of the jobs that are coming up now, they're 6 months. So it's hard for us because you work for 6 months and then what are you supposed to do for the rest of that year or for another year? So that's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to build a business and build a ministry. My spiritual direction, initially I had registered with Spiritual Directors International, and everyone that came to me wanted it for free. So I did it for free. But I need to get an income coming in so that I can support myself. And I know that there's schools opening up in Zimbabwe, there's good things coming up there. So if I can get something there, I'm willing to go. I'm applying in Dubai as well. And I'm applying in America, but I think it will be hard to go to America now with all the tariff wars and all that between Canada and America. So we'll see. Please pray for me. And this has got nothing to do with the Catholic Church, what I'm doing. I'm doing it of my own initiative because I didn't get the support from the church to get a job in the church. So I'm trying to get an income this way and to build up a speaking business. And they do have speaker opportunities within the Catholic Church, but it didn't work out for me. So if you can support me and get me speaking at your churches, in schools, wherever it is, and give me a small stipend towards my costs, that would be most appreciated. And of course, my dream is to get to that level where I'm like Chris Robinson or John Maxwell and be that kind of a speaker. But I'm just starting out. So any opportunities that I get, I take advantage of. And I do take the opportunities that come up, like when I spoke for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. They gave me a stipend towards that and they paid for my transportation. So that's where it is right now.